Do you find that you hyperextend into the golf ball and lose that space? It looks a little bit like this. If that feels like you, then I've got a move and a feel that you need to work on just a little bit in your backswing that is going to make the transition and the downswing so much easier and give you all the space you need and the freedom to just swing through and get the strikes that you want with the consistency that you desire. Let's find out how. So first, let's talk about what hyperextension is. If you're on YouTube and you're a golfer, you've probably seen tons of videos on this, all right? And I'm just going to talk about it for a second, really. Hyperextension is when we are sort of losing the space here, okay? As we come through, we're kind of standing up a little bit too tall and we're losing that distance. And usually, losing that space rather, not distance. Usually that derives from just a sort of self-preservation thing. One, because we're trying too hard to hit at the golf ball, okay? We don't want to hit at it so much. When we hit at it, we kind of stall the body and everything sort of flips through in that manner. We need to be able to understand that it's a through swing. It's about getting everything through. So the other reason it happens is basically just becoming too steep as we come down over the top, and it's like, I'm in my own way, I'm in my own way. I need to sort of salvage this a little bit here. You see that? So it's like we're a bit stuck, we're over the top, and we've got to salvage and shove the shot through, and it can look something like that, all right? Not a best example, but the idea is that we start here, okay? Looks good. In essence, we want to try and replicate the impact more in that position, all right? Not here, not here, more or less start as, strike as we started. Make sense? Do you feel that you get stuck around impact and you just kind of haven't got the room, and what happens is you sort of have to flip the hands through? Does that feel a little bit like your swing? Let me know below, okay? So there's the hyperextension, and there's lots of lessons on why it happens and how to fix it. A lot of it is, all right, we've got to shallow the hands, we've got to do this kind of stuff, but I'm going to give you an alternate reason, okay? The reason a lot of times it happens is, as we're making a backswing, this sort of pelvis action, let's say we've started here, okay? We've started here. This pelvis action, as you try and make a big turn, around and get behind it as you're told to do. What happens is, I've got this belt you can see here, hopefully, right? What happens is, this is kind of flat. So then, as that's flat, as we come through, if that's still flat, we've lost all that space there. See that? That's where difficulties happen. It's not necessarily because of this action coming back through the ball. It's just because we're having to manipulate too much from back here because the hips are already sort of in that sort of hyperextended position. So if I exaggerate here, right, and I just allow my hips to sort of turn flat, so almost feeling like my left is higher than my right as I turn back, no matter what I do, that's good. I have to really sort of make a big move to kind of get back into the ball. It's very easy just to sort of push it out that way. And it's kind of flat-footed. And what will happen, as you see from here, is we sort of get flat-footed and we get stuck, and it's a little bit like that. Not very good, really. So, easy way to fix it is, if you have got an alignment stick or something, great. I'm going to use that, but you can use your club or your belt. What we're going to do, right, I'm going to stick this through my belt loop. I don't necessarily faff around with stuff like this too much, but it's going to really help the visual, okay? So I've got this along my belt, all right, hopefully pretty straight to you there. As I make my backswing, I'm actually going to try and feel like this is a little bit higher than the left, okay? So as I'm going back this way, it's not sort of turning here, okay? It's not turning that way so much. it's more this way. So there's a bit more pelvic tilt. And what that's going to do as this, I mean, it's only quite a subtle move, right? But as this sort of comes back, as this loads up into the right side, just a hair, that feeling of just an inch or so, a little bit higher, is going to make it so much easier to move back down into that impact. That's it. That's the only feel I want you to do. And you can practice that with or without hitting golf shots. You really don't even have to hit any, because you can just sort of practice from this movement, feeling like, okay, as I'm bringing the club up, okay, however you want to, just let it flow. But I'm feeling like this, don't know why I dropped that. I'm feeling like this is a little bit higher down there. And as I make that transition, okay, I'm keeping this sort of pelvic tilt. It's not so much about the upper body, not so much about the legs, it's just my belt line that I'm thinking about, my pelvic line. And you'll be quite astonished at how that can change the sort of pattern of your golf swing as you're going through, and it will give you all the space that you need. It's really that simple. And that's where we're going to end today's lesson, okay? You practice that. No shots, no ball at first. Just feel like as you kind of load up into the right side a little bit, forget about trying to make a big turn, all right? Just allow the hands to flow where they need to, and feel like you've got a little bit more tilt, that the belt buckle, okay, is pointing at the target a little bit more, at the target, I don't know why I said that, at the ball a little bit more, okay? So it's more here as opposed to there, okay? So use that as a guide. Use your belt buckle as a guide. Try and keep it pointing down more. And as you come through, keep it pointing down more. And see what it will do for you. So there we have it. Help your hyperextension and impact area just by working on that backswing little move for the pelvis, all right? Just that hip turn, just feel it. And let me know how it works out for you. Even if you don't sort of hyperextend and get really stuck, it's a good feel to sort of maintain anyway, to make sure that you've got the tilt in the backswing, but it's not just about the upper body. We've got, we're all connected here, right? And everything sort of has to work in harmony. And I think that will help you. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them below. And we do have a free series that's going to help every facet of your game, to keep it simple, to keep you playing your best golf for years to come. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.